Good evening. Welcome to the Tuesday, March 10th, 2020 school committee meeting. As always, call this meeting to order. As always, these meetings are audio and video recorded. We'll start with introductions to my left.
Sharon Fairbank.
Rob Mullen.
Good evening, Julie Guastucci.
Good evening, Mike Moran.
Good evening, Mark Branco, Assistant Superintendent.
Hi, Mike Flanagan, Superintendent.
Ryan McMahon.
Anthony Tenorello.
Paul Mitchell.
Joe Messina, Business Administrator.
KJ Moore, Student Representative.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I will seek a motion to approve the minutes of January 6th, 2020 tri-board minutes, February 24th, 2020 tri-board minutes, February 25th, 2020 school committee minutes, and February 26th, 2020 negotiations subcommittee minutes.
Make that motion.
I'll second that.
Discussion?
Mr. Chair, could we break out some of them due to having to abstain for not being there, or can I just mention it at the end?
You don't have to abstain.
You have to abstain if you're not going to vote on meeting minutes if you weren't there at the meeting.
Sure.
Okay. I just didn't know if you want to break them out or if you would like to just do it as a whole and then I can just
Stay at the end.
abstain at the end on which one.
Is it there?
That's
Okay.
whatever works for you.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained?
One abstain for one of them, one date.
Which date?
I'll let you know which one. Sorry.
Okay,
All right.
no worries.
Thanks. No, that's all right. We're all set. Thank you. Sorry to make a big deal out of it.
It carries 700 and 601. Correspondence.
Mr. Chair, we have two items of correspondence. In your drive tonight, really exciting news. You'll see the nomination letter as well as the press release announcement for Miss Katy Lahey. Miss Lahey is a 7th grade English and social studies teacher, humanities teacher at TMS, and she was recently celebrated 2 nights ago, by the NELMS, New England League of Middle Schools, at their annual conference. It's a big deal. Actually, Dr. Branco, you were there. Do you want to speak a little bit to this?
Yeah, it was fantastic. So NELMS is, the New England League of Middle Schools is one of 4 regional middle school organizations across the country, and every year they take nominations from local school districts in New England to honor what they call the master in the middle and recognize excellence in teaching at the middle level. And Miss Lahey was recommended by her peers and her principal, and then the review committee took a look at all the information, and she was selected to be an award winner. We had a fantastic reception Sunday evening where Miss Lahey's family was there, and many of her colleagues came all the way down to Providence to participate and to see her get the award, which is very cool.
And I think that's quite a testimonial to Miss Lahey and her teammates that they would drive to Providence on a Sunday night to celebrate her. So it was a great award for her. So very proud of that. And congratulations to Miss Lahey. The next piece of correspondence, also good news. We received notification from the boys basketball coach, Greg Costa, that Phil Sutherland was selected by IBO Board 95 to receive the Pete Sheehan Award. There's a monetary factor that goes with this award as well, but it's for his sportsmanship and leadership on the court. He was he was the male selected in the Board 95 region. Board 95 is essentially Merrimack Valley. So in this entire region, he was the male basketball player selected. So congratulations to Phil Sutherland on that award. And that's it for correspondence.
That's great news. Visitors, comments, and questions? See none. Share the success. KJ?
So, start off with the elementary school. Jessica Kensky and her husband, Patrick Downs, as well as their service dog Rescue, visited TES yesterday to share their story. The two were injured in the Boston Marathon bombing in 2013 and are co-authors of the book Rescue and Jessica, A Life-Changing Friendship. Additionally, TES families will be receiving information regarding the upcoming Science Expo, Ice Cream Social, and Follett Book Fair. They have a night of fun planned for Wednesday, April 15th. With over 200 students participating in the expo this year, they couldn't be more proud of their efforts. They want to give a special thanks to Miss Maraca, Miss Vieira, and Miss Cooper for their hard work in planning this great event. As for the middle school, this week is both Spirit Week and March Madness within TMS. Monday was Celtics Pride Day, Tuesday was College Pride Day, Wednesday is Red, White, and Blue Day, Thursday is Neon Day, and Friday will be TMS Pride Day. Dodgeball was held after school today at TMS, and Nitro Ball will be held after school on Thursday from 2 to 3:45. And on Friday, the teachers will play the 8th grade basketball team as a finale. And congratulations to 8th grader Joshua Govin, who made it to state level Geography B. And as for THS, congratulations to students Joshua Ducharme, Lindsay Panatin, Madison Hickey, Katie Hernowitz, who were announced as the March Students of the Month. THS held a successful trip to Spain and Portugal during February vacation, allowing students to see more of the world. Congratulations to student Chloe Brush, who placed first overall in the MIAA Alpine Ski Championships. And finally, students entered the final trimester of the year, and freshmen, sophomore, and juniors were given their course selection sheets to plan their classes for next year.
Excellent, thank you.
And as the seniors are excited if they don't have to plan classes for next year.
Yeah.
Not that important piece out. Most of them, right, exactly.
Make motion to,
Oh, God.
take 9A out of order.
I'll second that.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Carries 7-0.
So, Mr. Chair, I know that the committee expressed an interest in having students come and present whenever something pertinent or relevant is going on at the time. So we have DECA here tonight from Tyngsborough High School. So Ms. Trainer and Mr. Richard are going to come up and introduce the students and talk a little bit about the DECA program and the recent happenings within that program. I know they recently went to a competition in Boston, so I won't steal any more thunder. Come on up to the table.
Hi everyone, thank you for having us. So as Dr. Flanagan stated, our DECA team recently competed in the regional and the state competitions. And we have Mr. Richall, who is the advisor here, as well as 3 members of the DECA club, Abdullah, Nick, and Abby here, that are going to share their experience with you. We're very proud of how well they have done so far, and definitely looking forward to their presentation. So I guess we're gonna come on
This
up.
is only a second-year program, I believe.
This is the second year running this, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Great. Welcome.
First of all, I'd like to thank you all for having us today. I would like to talk about what is DECA. So DECA is a business-oriented club for high school students, but it also includes in college students, but it's not as popular. DECA is spread throughout all 50 states, including Canada, China, Guam, Mexico, Puerto Rico, and Spain. Ever since 1946, their goal has been to improve educational and career opportunities in marketing, management, and entrepreneurship for students. So how it works is it's split into different levels. The first level is the district level. We were in District 5, which includes Billerica, Chelmsford, Dracut, Groton, Dunstable, Neshoba Regional, Neshoba Tech, Phillips, Andover, Tewksbury, Tyngsborough, and Westford. And then the winners from the district go on to the next level, which is SCDC, which is the state conference. It's a conference in Boston, Massachusetts. We get to stay in a hotel room for 3 days and compete against other schools who have made it past their district and made it to the SCDC. And then after that, they go on to ICDC, which is the International Career Development Conference. And in 2020, this happened in Nashville, and next year this will happen in Anaheim.
These are just pictures of us from states. So it is at the Marriott in Boston, and it's attached to the Prudential Center and the Copley Place. So it's just a bunch of malls. So in our free time, we get to walk around. So that's where one of the pictures is from. Where it's held, districts is held at UMass Lowell. This year it was held in the library. But basically, you do role plays. You choose a category and you do an event, which is a role play, or sometimes you do a written event. But basically it's a lot of networking, a lot of connecting to other people from other schools. They do tours of the business school at UMass Lowell. It's a new building, and it was super nice to be able to see a school, especially for some of the kids who aren't seniors who weren't really looking for schools, but it was just nice to see it. States, it's a 3-day event. Usually it's like Thursday through Saturday. Thursday night it's dinner, and then it's a like ceremony just to like get everyone like into States. It's a little long, but it's fun. It's very fun. They give you things to do. A speaker came this year. I kind of forget his name, but he talked about his struggles through life and how he got to where he is. And then the next day is all competitions. So role play people get their times the night before on when they're competing the next day, and you go and find where you're supposed to be. There's usually some time in between to get lunch. You get a voucher to eat lunch at a certain place in one of the malls, and you just wait for your category and you prepare for it during the day. And then Saturday, there's an award ceremony for who won and who will move on to ICDC. And some of the winners of the categories end up winning scholarships. There were certain people from certain companies that also offer scholarships to some people, usually the first place winners of some categories.
And there's a variety of different competitions that you compete, like that anyone can compete in, which our at States our teams and our teams competed in marketing management, team decision making, business law and ethics, team decision making, sports and entertainment marketing, team decision making, and then these next 3, they're written portions, written competitions, where the students get together and write up like professional business write-ups basically, and those would be hospitality and tourism, operations research, startup business plan, and integrated marketing campaign product. And then these last 3 are once again just the like role play scenarios, which are hospitality management, principles of hospitality and tourism, and last one is Quiz Bowl, which is a competition which like 4 people from one school and 4 people from the other school compete in, like, you could compare it to like Knowledge Bowl, it's like a trivia type thing. But
there's
like,
buzzers on the table, so you
yeah,
buzz in, they read the question, you have like 5 seconds to answer it, and you buzz in. Us 3 are a part of the Quiz Bowl team, or we were this year. There was one other, but there were a total of 59 teams, I think, in Quiz Bowl, so basically every school has a team. Our team we went up against was actually a combination of 3 schools, so if you don't have enough to make one team of 4, you can combine with another to make a full team. So that's what we were up against, King Philip's and 2 other schools, so it was definitely a different mix of people.
And that's it.
So can you just explain, like you talked about doing this role play, how does that work? Do they, give an example if you can.
So you choose a category and you basically learn more about what's like involved in your category, and then when you get there you get called, you have a time, and you go, there's like papers on the walls, and you line up with the other people in your group, and you get taken into a room, you get your role play, you can take as many pieces of blank paper as you want, and it's basically, sometimes it's you take a position in a company like high up, and you have to, like for me I was retail management or retail merchandising or something, so you basically, I took like the position of someone high up, and I had to create 2 products, and then you get 15 minutes or 10 minutes to do that, and then you go, after that's up, you can't take the role play with you, so everything you wrote down is what you get to take in, or what you like know, and then you go in front of a judge and you present whatever you wrote down or whatever your role play was, whatever you had to do, and they'll ask questions too, and that's not timed, it's however long it takes you, and then you get scored off of that, and you also, like a month before or like a couple weeks before, you take a 100 multiple choice test on your category, and that also, it's 2/3 of your scoring, so your role play is 1/3, so you just have to prepare for your test and for the role play.
And most of these are one-on-one, so you go in by yourself with a judge and explain to him your scenario and what you made up for your plan. And sometimes the judge acts as the company CEO, and you'd have to pretend like he's your CEO and you're presenting your marketing plan or whatever you have set up to your CEO,
in the educational aspect, right? So what they're scored on is how well like professionally dressed they are, how well they present themselves, right? Soft skills, being able to talk to people, eye contact, shake hands, right? Actually, not at state. Some of the judges chose not to shake hands, which was pretty funny. Some of the kids got so thrown off by it. But on DECA's website, if you go to it, they have like performance indicators, and there's hundreds and hundreds of these performance indicators that co-align with curriculum. So everything you do in the classroom, right? So like, for example, for marketing, right? Abby might have one like, can you describe the difference in target audience of like, let's just use Boston, for example, as opposed to San Francisco, right? So there's a little difference. You have to be able to explain how a store in Boston might have to sell its products a little differently than a store in San Francisco based on the demographics, right? That's just an example, but there's hundreds of them, right? And the students have like 6 or 7 on their presentations, and they have to hit them, right? And they get scored on that. So some of the students, right, did awesome jobs. Like some were 10, 10, 10, 10, which is really cool. Just be able to go through that list and be able to explain at a professional level their answers.
Now, I'm wondering, do you all have a business marketing management lean for college? Is that what you're looking to study?
Yeah, I'm definitely looking to go into marketing, like specifically in business. Definitely. So I chose to do with another friend of mine who was actually on the Quiz Bowl team, Eric Cruz. Us two were partners for our role play in marketing management team decision making, and it's definitely a good opportunity to like get more experience in how things work in that like field.
Yeah, it's a great way if you're undecided about what you want to do in the future. It's a great way to see the business side of life and see how if it makes you if you feel happy doing something like business style.
What was your favorite part of the experience?
Networking with people, getting to know a lot of different people from different schools. It was just nice to like hear from them and like to talk to them. That's a lot of like Friday night after dinner and the like ceremony that night. There's definitely a lot of free time, and it's just nice to get to know people. You can go to the pool and meet more people, but it's just nice throughout like the 3 days to meet new people and to talk about, like for me going to college, it was nice to like see people if they were going to the same school where they were going.
Yeah,
I thought you were going to say the mall.
Networking is a tremendous skill to have. You want to keep that through your whole life. It'll definitely help you out. What was your least favorite part?
The long
Award ceremonies.
that and like the long quizzes, the long exams that you gotta take before. That's it's a.
Does everyone have to take the writing exam?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
It's 2/3 of
Yeah.
part
And
of
you
it.
have to take 2 technically, or even 3 if you make it to the last conference at like ICDC. So you have to take one for districts, then you have to take another one for states, and then another one if you make it that far.
So you voluntarily took extra exams?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was worth it though.
Yeah, it was worth
Definitely
it.
Yeah, it was
worth it.
definitely worth it.
How long have you been participating in the DECA program?
It was my first year, and
For us, it was our 2nd year. DECA's only been here for 2 years, so I wish it was here longer. I wish I got to do it for more years, honestly. It would have been nice to have every year, but for the past 2 years, it was fun doing.
So before you started, what were you nervous about doing it, and now you're comfortable with these?
The worst part was like not knowing exactly what to do and going in front of the judge. That was the scariest part. Like, I guess some of us have had job interviews, but it wasn't exactly the same. Like job interviews, they ask you questions about who you are, whereas this was like you needed to know what you were talking about. Like you got a certain role play, and if you didn't know something in it, if you hadn't prepared for that exact role play, you kind of didn't know what you were talking about as much as if you had practiced for it.
yeah, in real life you get probably weeks to prepare for something like this, but you only have a couple minutes to
10 minutes.
Yeah, 10 minutes to prepare, and you have to do it immediately in front of a judge and make sure it's perfect.
And
There's one answers in a minute.
Yeah.
No one weeks. You know your stuff when you get there.
the unpredictability about it also. It's like, you know who you are and stuff, but when you go into that room with the judge, you're taking like a role of someone else. You're taking a role of a CEO, of a manager, assistant manager, of someone who's just being hired. It's just cool to take on that other part that it's cool to be in the unknown sometimes.
I
think it's great to hear these skills because sometimes you do have to improvise on the fly. Sometimes you do have to, in like the real world, like fake it to make it. And those skills are really important skills to have. And all of you presented really well today. So like you showed up really professional. You did a great job presenting to us. This doesn't look like students to me. So congratulations, you've done a fantastic job.
Thank you very much.
I'll encourage more students to get involved too, because the experiences that you have is important. The more you have at this age, the easier things become as you get as old as me.
From our first year last year, we had a total of
We had 14 last year go to districts, and this year we brought 30. And then the states last year, I think, what did we have? 8 last year. 8 went to states in Boston. This year was 17. But some of these schools, no joke, Westford pulls up with 400 kids in districts. Yeah. Right? They brought
Westford is huge.
Oliver Ames was on our floor at Boston, right? So it's a whole floor of a hotel room. There's 6 Tyngsborough rooms. Every other room is Oliver Ames students.
But
You gotta grow the program.
We do.
no, I'm proud of. So me and Nick were on Crisbo last year. Abdul wasn't a part of DECA last year, but our first round, we went up against Westford, one of the biggest chapters of DECA, and we beat them, surprisingly. That was our biggest accomplishment this Crisbo last year.
Very cool. It's definitely like a great way to just grow more friends too. Like these two people, like Abby, I knew her like really well, but like she's one of the best friends I could have ever asked for. Same for Abdullah. Just like you don't really realize how amazing some people are until you get to spend time with them. I gotta say goodbye to them for next year. I gotta take it on. Definitely gonna be hard. I would.
Cool. Well, as you go forward, keep participating in things. When you get to college, find the things that you're interested in. Get involved in them. Don't just let it stop here. Continue to be a part of the community and expand your horizons. Is how you're going to be successful in life.
Yeah, network. It's the key to your whole future. It really is. Anybody have anything else to add? Nice work.
Congratulations.
Thank you guys. Amazing job.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Yes. Thank you.
Take care.
Enjoy. We will resume our normal agenda. Subcommittee update. We will discuss negotiations in executive session tonight. Personnel?
Not at this time.
Unfinished business.
So, Mr. Chair, cleaning preparedness update. We don't really have a school building committee update tonight. School building committee meets on the 25th, so we'll have an update in our April meeting. So, cleaning preparedness update. So coronavirus. You may have heard about this on the news. It's everywhere. It's all consuming at this point. So I just want to make the committee aware of things steps that we're taking in the district. I do need to request your action on another item tonight. As I go back to the agenda, as you look at our agenda, the committee does reserve the right to add items not reasonably anticipated by the chair prior to posting this agenda. And something I'm going to talk about a little bit later came about as a matter at 3:30 today, so we're going to have a conversation about that. But preliminary steps we've taken to deal with the coronavirus in the schools. As you know, I think when Dominic Santelli was here, he talked about purchasing sprayers that are electrostatic disinfectants that we're using. We were using those once a week in the schools. We've since changed that. Every classroom is being disinfected every other day at this point. So we take half the school one day, upstairs one day, downstairs the second day, and that's rotating on a daily basis. So we're going to still hit trash in bathrooms, but vacuum carpets, that'll happen every other day, not consistently, because we want to make sure that we're doing disinfecting. We brought some sanitizer in spray bottles that we've supplied to D-Bus. All the bus drivers, we're wiping the buses down at the end of their shift every day. Mr. Messina's been in touch with Whitson's. Whitson's taking all the precautionary steps possible. We're making hand sanitizer available as much as we can. But as you are all aware, the case is doubled today, and it's a real issue in schools. You saw several colleges, including MIT, as of 5:30 tonight, are not allowing kids back in after spring break, and they're going to educate the kids remotely. I had a Merrimack Valley Superintendent's meeting today. Dr. Branco and I were there with 25 other superintendents, and we all have the same look on our face. It's all coronavirus all the time, and it's all consuming at this point. I met last week with the town administrator, fire chief, police chief, and Kevin, our local Board of Health agent, to talk about steps we can take for preparedness. We have a weekly meeting which is scheduled for tomorrow at 1 o'clock. At 3:30 today, as you know, the governor declared a state of emergency. That being said, in that, one of the mandates, he said, we're doing this to mitigate corona spread. One of the mandates he put out there for state employees is no travel, out-of-state travel for state employees. That was in the middle of that press conference, before it was even through, received an email from the Commissioner of Education recommending that all out-of-district travel also be halted. So that being said, if you're looking at driving, Mark, if you could pull this letter up. I've drafted a letter, and I'm making the recommendation, I'm hoping that the school committee supports me tonight, that we cancel our trip, our 8th grade trip to Washington, D.C. This was not on the radar until 3:30 today when a state of emergency was declared. And the reason I bring it to you tonight, as opposed to 2 weeks from now, is because our trip is scheduled for April 13th. We have 94 students going on this trip. Of the 94 students, 74 families purchased the insurance. That means those people will get a 75% reimbursement right up to 48 hours before the trip if we cancel. The other 20 families will only get a 50% reimbursement up until day 31, which is Thursday. We're going to have to make a decision tonight, because that refund window closes on Thursday, to cancel this trip so that 20 families in our district aren't out all of their money at this point. I don't make this recommendation lightly. This is the trend that everyone's going. As you know, most districts in the Commonwealth have already canceled international travel. This will be the next conversation that's had throughout the Commonwealth. As a matter of fact, at 6 o'clock breaking news, another student in Neshoba Regional District, a teacher in the Neshoba Regional District, tested positive and exposed to 15 students there. So until we get a handle on this and can mitigate it somewhat, this seems to be the trend, and it's growing. So my recommendation is that we cancel the DC trip. My hope is to put this letter out tonight after this meeting with your support, so that parents can plan accordingly. I understand, and so that the school can actually reach out to the company, the travel company's academic expectations. Mark has a copy of the contract. We've been through all the dates and timelines, and this is really the right thing to do right now. I will say also at the superintendent level, there is a push. Superintendents are coming together to draft a letter to send to companies like EF Tours and Academic Expectations and all these other travel companies to ask for some sort of relief if they can afford it. We do business with these same travel groups every single year. And I'm not sure, EF Tours International Travel, one of the superintendents said today that, the manager at a hotel in Italy doesn't care what the Massachusetts governor says. You're not getting your refund. But we're hoping that we can leverage it a little bit more, particularly with the domestic travel. So it's not a recommendation that I make lightly, but given where we are and trying to protect the financial interests of as many people in the community as possible, I think it's the right move for us. So I'm happy to answer any questions I can about this. If I missed anything,
No.
I'll jump in. But we've been on this since 2 o'clock today, nonstop working on this.
I think the language we've been using is our backs up are against the wall because of the timeline. Whereas there are a couple other surrounding towns where if their DC trip isn't until June, they can kind of be in a holding pattern. We don't have the luxury of staying in a holding pattern anymore.
No, we're 33 days from travel.
Yeah.
And as the governor said today, he won't even revisit the state of emergency, I think, for 30 days.
30 days.
So
Yeah.
at that point, we're in trouble. So happy to answer any questions.
Is there any, so you haven't really talked to the tour provider itself as of yet?
No.
So is there any opportunity to, I'm sure you'll be asking these questions, but to rearrange the tour, to do it in May or something along that line?
So that's what we gotta cancel it now so that we can get the refund, and then we need to have those conversations exactly. Can we push it out to a June tour? Potentially, I don't know.
Okay. as a business, I know that they would want to figure out a way to try to mitigate their issues.
Sure.
And as a resident, I think we should go forward with that, protect the residents and do the best we can for the people that are trying to do the best they can. I'll make a motion to cancel the 8th grade trip to Washington, D.C. and have the administration look to see if there's any other things that can be done so that everybody comes home.
I will second that.
Discussion? Wash your hands. Well, I think it's a tough choice to make, but it's the right one in light of what's going on.
We haven't canceled a trip since 2001 after 9/11. We had to cancel an international trip then. So it's the first time we've had to revisit this. So, yeah, it's unfortunate.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carries 7-0.
So thank you. So with your support, I'll send this letter out tonight, and I will encourage Mr. Paul to work with academic expectations to see what else we can.
So getting back to the cleaning portion of
Yes,
this,
yep.
Is it happening in all schools, or
Yes.
is it mainly at the elementary schools?
All schools.
All schools at, one floor and then the next.
Yep, it was a mandate that Mr. Cimentelli put out earlier this week, and that effective this past Monday. That was the direction we're going.
As far as attendance, are you seeing any issues with attendance? I know that
Really, no.
back in January and February, there was issues with the flu and things along that line.
Yeah, no, it's actually improved since then in attendance, so we haven't noticed it.
So in general, everything's going well. We're just taking precautionary actions
We
to
are.
make sure that we're staying ahead of the game.
Exactly.
Is the Valley following the same protocol?
I'm sorry?
Valley, are they following the same protocol, you know?
That I don't know. I can look into that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good question.
question.
Are there any other trips planned in the next 45 days?
So great question. So we had a meeting this afternoon with the admin team at around 2:30, and we talked about, we created a Google Doc that has all upcoming field trips as well as all upcoming big events, because that was the other thing that the governor talked about, not really bringing in hundreds of people into one location. So we're populating that tonight, the admin team is, and we will look at that and have some conversations about that moving forward. But the listserv that I'm on with the superintendents, those are the questions. We're sending 60 kids to Faneuil Hall for a band competition. Do we send them? And I think, today there was a women in leadership conference at Holy Cross that had 200 people. That was canceled. So anything that draws a couple hundred people, they're looking at saying, let's avoid that for now. So.
And not to be an alarmist, but have we started to consider if there's a need for additional shutdowns in the future? Like, what are those contingency plans? And not saying right now, I'm just saying contingency plans.
Yeah, no, so that was part of our conversation today as well. Yeah, what happens if, particularly in light of, we're starting to see colleges closed down right now, so.
And we don't have the luxury of educating remotely like Harvard does.
Right.
So that's where this question comes from.
Right. Certainly more difficult for lower grades than for high school kids, but it's certainly on the radar. It's I think what we're all looking for is a little bit more concrete direction right now. Right now, a lot of it's being pushed back on the local, and I think a little bit more direction from DPH or DESE or something that says this is what all schools should do. We're all answering the same questions. We're all the same questions, same issues, so it's a matter of giving us a little bit more advice.
How about, sorry to keep
Yeah.
are the teaching staff and the administration encouraging students to wash their hands more frequently, sending them to the restrooms or the sinks in the classrooms more frequently?
We are.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
we put
is there
that
anything
out.
we can ask of the community, like any supplies that are needed from the community?
Certainly, we're looking for the sanitizing wipes or any kind of 60% or above hand sanitizer. We'll absolutely take any donations. Right now, we've done a pretty good job. Dominic Cimentelli has been really in front of this in terms of building up our local supply. So we're in good shape there, but that we'll certainly welcome any donations that somebody would offer.
What about potential at-risk people in the schools? Anybody who's traveled recently, anybody who's been exposed to somebody who's traveled.
Yeah.
Are we reaching out, trying to identify those individuals?
So we are working through our local board of health, and we're also waiting for DPH guidelines on that as well. And there are very specific recommendations that are out there. If someone in the house is quarantined, it doesn't necessarily mean that everyone else needs to be quarantined. Or if somebody self-quarantines, it doesn't mean that everyone else has to. So we're careful to follow those closely. So, yes.
I just think next steps are, as the superintendent said, we're all hopeful that it's not going to be a la carte and it's not going to be held to the local. And we're going to get some guidance, particularly from DSE down the road, if the cases continue to expand and get more local. We'll get some guidance hopefully on whether or not we're going to be looking at alternative education opportunities or school shutdowns. Right now, we're sort of in a holding pattern waiting to hear from them at this point.
And we're working, it's been great. We've been working very closely with town hall and fire and police. So we're all on the same page, having the same conversations, meeting weekly. So we're on it. We're on it. But it's a fluid situation. It just changes so often. So we're just trying to manage it right now.
I thought it was interesting how they were talking about the 180-day requirement, and that after March 15th, you'll only be required to 100.
So let me explain that. So thank you for that. That's actually a change. That's a change from Friday.
Wow.
As of Friday, it's changed. I can tell you email. So basically, what happens is this: if a school were to cancel between now and March 16th, you have to make that day up at the end of the year. From March 16th to June 1st, any day there that you cancel, you just have to hit your 185 days. The 5 snow days we've already built in, 3 of which we've already used. So we'd only have 2 days max more if it's after March 16th. Anything after June 1st, you don't have to make up at all. So last week, it was March 31st was the deadline. So that's got moved up a couple of weeks. I don't know why, I don't know if that's telling, but it was moved up 2 weeks. So I think particularly because the cases doubled overnight last night, and we're just monitoring it, very closely. So right now, if we make it to Monday without canceling school, which I anticipate we will, the most we would have to make up is 2 more days to get to our 185th day. That was pre-scheduled.
Yeah, I just think they're talking about their, from the state government business continuity plan, and then it filters down to each level, and we're at the local level. What is the continuity plan of students? They've given some guidance with the 31st to the 15th. Now it's wait and see.
Yes, and actually, Matt Hanson already reached out to me with a series of questions to answer about our business continuity plan here. So we're looking at that. So stay tuned. I'm sure it'll be a different message in 2 weeks, but that's where we are right now.
You'll keep the committee up to date with emails?
I will absolutely. I'll keep the committee up to date with communication emails, and I will certainly let you know where Mr. Pollard is with his contact with the travel company. Any updates we have to know.
Thank you. Okay. 9B.
So in your drive is a draft of our student opportunity plan. This is the short form version, believe it or not, according to the state. So if you remember from our reimbursement situation, we were not in that group of 35 districts getting 80-something% of the money. So as a result, we had a very prescriptive short form to complete. So this is the form that we've put together. We are going to leverage initiatives and actions that we've been taking in the past couple of years that we feel are already in place, that we could use whatever funds happen to come with, whatever resources to continue to support. So as you take a look at it, you'll see that it has a commitment with focusing on certain student subgroups. We'll continue our efforts around English language students and our struggling learners as our 2 major subgroups. We're going to continue with our co-teaching, implementation of the WIN block, take a good look at our ELE programming and staffing needs, and provide professional development in all of those areas. So this does need to be voted on by school committee, and the link actually just came out today for us to be able to submit our plans formally. So if the school committee would be so kind to take action on that tonight, we can do our diligence and get the plan uploaded.
You made our April 1st deadline.
Yeah.
I will seek a motion to approve the Student Opportunity Act plan as drafted.
Second.
I'll make that motion.
What?
I didn't hear it, I'm sorry.
You can't second it.
All right, well, you make the motion, I'll second, okay?
You gonna second that one?
Didn't I just say that?
Thanks, Rob. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries 7-0-0.
Thank you.
9C.
Mr. Chair, in your drive, you'll see our school choice overview for this year. Top grid outlines the students that are school choiced in, the number of staff, children, and the students who are in and out of state. At the bottom, based on projected class size, those are our recommendations for next year. Given the volatility, for lack of a better term, in the housing market in Tyngsborough and the constant turnover, we don't believe it's wise to open any seats, grades pre-K to 5. We're tight. We're looking at our staffing pattern anyways. We're looking at hitting a budget number as well. So that being said, we're not comfortable opening any seats for school choice in K to 5. Grade 6, we have a small 5th grade coming over. We can probably manage another 5 students. We know we can manage another 5 students in grade 6. Our current grade 6 going to grade 7 is a larger class, and we don't believe it's wise to open any seats in grade 7. Grade 8, we can open seats. Grade 5 students, no problem. Grades 9 and 10, the 8th grade coming out of the high school is going to be one of the smallest classes we've had in years. It may be in double digits. It may be in 95-ish. So that being said, we have plenty of seats that we can open in grades 9 and 10. And again, minimal seats in grades 11 and 12 on an as-needed basis. So our recommendation, I guess what we're looking for is twofold. One, that we will participate in the Massachusetts School Choice Program, and 2, that the committee will support these numbers as presented by the building principals based on our current enrollment and our staffing patterns.
So does this mean that the people who are currently on school
They're in.
They're in.
Once you're in, you're in.
So, okay. So
These
these
are additional seats
additional,
tonight, yes. Thank you for the clarifying. Yep, these are new seats.
Is that 9th grade class next year always that small, or is it shrunk as the years have gone on?
No, it's always been small. And historically, about 20 students choose either Greater Lowell, PG,
Okay.
other schools. So,
Will those numbers include foreign exchange students?
no.
No.
Those will be separate. There are plenty of seats there.
Yes.
We'll seek a motion to approve participation in school choice for the 2020-2021 school year with the specified seats.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries 7-0-0. 9D.
Mr. Messina.
Thank you, Dr. Flanagan. I'd like to ask the school committee to bring 2 warrant articles to the Board of Selectmen for the town meetings that are coming up in May. The first is the draft warrant article for the special town meeting to request the Medicaid receipts from last year be added to your budget. This is a housekeeping, this is a revenue item that we recognize when we do the FY20 budget. Again, it's at the will of the voters, so we always do ask the voters to support this. We had $129,413 in receipts last year for the Medicaid program, and that's basically Medicaid eligible students that are educated through the Tyngsborough Public Schools. The second warrant article for annual town meeting would be a request to ask the voters for the school committee to enter into any purchase power agreements on any of your buildings. Back in December of 2017 at the special town meeting, we did ask the voters for the high school project only, and very successful, 6.5 months of operation. We've probably saved about $50,000 from those solar panels. This request would ask the voters to allow you to enter into these 20-year agreements for any of your buildings. So it would open up an opportunity to look at these for elementary school, Lakeview, and any middle school project that might come down the pike. So those are the 2 warrant articles I'd recommend the school committee put in front of the Board of Selectmen.
Thank you. I will seek a motion to approve the warrant articles as written to be submitted to the Board of Selectmen.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Discussion?
The warrant article on the solar stuff, that doesn't commit us to any one company. That just allows us to do the.
Correct. That allows you to enter into any of these pricing agreements that are longer than 3 years. I mean, traditionally, these are 20-year pricing agreements. So, no, it wouldn't, it would be an opportunity at that point for the school committee to go out, be it through Power Options and their vendors, or we could seek our own vendor and go out to bid for something.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries 700.
Thank you.
9E.
Cheers. Yep.
So we negotiated with SEIU 888. We came to agreement on a 3-year contract. We're going to form a joint labor management committee to review job description and create an evaluation instrument and an evaluation timeline. And it is now an 11-step salary scale with a pay range of $32,000 to $44,600. And seek a motion to approve the negotiated terms with SEIU 888 and authorize the chair to sign the collective bargaining agreement.
Make that motion.
I will second it.
Discussion?
I think it's a really good contract for the secretaries. They were very amenable and worked well in the negotiations, and I think they do a great job for us. And they deserve it.
It's a small group, there's only 8 members, so.
Yep.
Yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries 700. Finance, Mr. Messina.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Presented 10 bill warrants to the committee tonight. In your drive is the list of warrant numbers, accounts, and amounts. For signing of payroll, also in your drive are 2 payrolls, the last 2. Payroll dated February 17th and March 2nd. Warrant numbers, accounts, and amounts are in the drive. And that's it.
Thank you. School committee discussion.
I'm all set, thank you.
I'm all set, thank you.
First of all, I'd like to congratulate the basketball teams. Both made it into playoffs and did very well. And so congratulations. And I think KJ, were you part of that? No.
I was not, no.
No, you're part of that. But second of all, I have received back one of the school committee evaluations. And I am going to, by not receiving any, I'm thinking maybe I need to redo the format a little bit. Is that consensus?
That wasn't it, I just forgot to, I'm sorry.
You just forgot to? Okay, I like your honesty. And the one that was received back is mine. So, so you go
Well, thanks for your brutal honesty.
So by the response, I'm thinking maybe if I redo the format a little bit. People saying that? Okay. And again, we're not under a strict timeline. I think my hope is that by the summer, I'll really extend it, to get these, because then if we wanted to do a work session where we worked on any of these items, we could maybe make a work session this summer. So that was my thought. And again, my whole reasoning for doing this is because I think that going forward, on the project to build a middle school, as cohesive as a group as we can be and keep being, because I think we are a very cohesive group, is the most important. So, does that sound like a good
Sounds
trajectory?
wonderful. Sounds awesome.
And Paul, do you have any ideas for any of that?
How more meetings do I have, Mike?
3 years worth after the write-in campaign.
Yeah, but we're going to write you in, Paul, so.
You mentioned last time that he would help me.
I will.
Okay, awesome.
No problem.
I started doing it. It's not too hard. It's just formatting the question.
So I apologize, I've just been busy working.
That's okay, that's no problem.
He forgot to.
Just be safe and be well, that's all I can say.
Yeah.
I'm good, thank you.
I'm good, thank you.
I'm all set, thank you.
I just want to thank you for bringing the DECA students in today. That's probably one of my favorite presentations I've done so far. Not to diss on any of the others, but I really enjoyed that. The students were really professional. They did an awesome job, so it was really great to see those students tonight.
I just want to encourage everybody with all the news going on, just to get out and be active and be healthy. You know, that's going to be the best defense against this coronavirus. And I'm discouraged with the news reports that they're not sort of telling us what happens if you get it, or the people that have gotten it and are healthy again. You just all you hear about is, you know, new cases. Well, I have a third-hand knowledge of some people in Wuhan, China that never got it at all, and that's third-hand information. I can't guarantee that, but that's something that we're not hearing, and I think the anxiety that some of this is causing to our kids and to everybody as a whole is a little further than it needs to be. We just need more information from the press to find out, you know, are these people really getting sick, bad sick, that can't do anything, or, you know, what is it? We just need more information, in my opinion. Just good luck, and hopefully it all passes by real quick.
Amen. Warmer weather, it's later outside at night, things are looking good. That's all I got.
Thanks, Tony.
I would just encourage all our students to finish strong. We just started our third trimester, and I know the weather's going to turn and people are excited for the spring activities and events, but kind of keep your head to the grindstone here and let's finish strong.
A couple of things, actually. First, I want to congratulate the 4th and 7th grade girls travel basketball. They both won the end of season tournaments.
Great.
So great job to those girls. The 4th grade team played D2 all year, got bumped up to D1 and took it home.
Nice.
So it was really impressive. And then I received an email in the last week from a parent who wanted to highlight 6 students who helped coach the 6th through 8th grade recreation basketball. He asked if I could mention them. So the students who helped out were Charlie Manson, Kevin Tessier, Wes Eisenberger, Carter Times, Jake Sheridan, and Parth Patel. I think it says a lot that we had so many students step up and help out, and they did such a good job that the parents felt the need to want them recognized publicly. That's awesome. So thank you to those guys. That's it. We do have a need for executive session to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigating position of the public body as declared by the chair. We will return from executive session only to adjourn the regular session meeting. This action requires a roll call vote.
Make the motion.
I'll second it.
In favor.
In favor. In favor?
In favor.
In favor.
That carries 600. 601. We are in executive session. Have a good night.